And now that we have the inner mold removed, we can remove the nose. This nose plate has had the screws taken out of, so it'll slide off. You can cut this one. So there's the nose removed. And now we will, there's a little, we'll just be sure that that comes away from the nose nice and clean. We'll take our screwdriver and just clean that up a little bit right along the edge there. Okay, and now we will take the well, we'll remove our band around the base, and then we'll remove our outer mold. So we'll bolts. The screw that held the outer mold down, that needs to be taken off. Remove the screw that holds the base frame down. And we'll do the same on the back side. Okay, now all the bottom parts, the retainer parts are removed, so now we can go ahead and take these 4 screws out of the back side of the outer mold. I'll leave that one a little bit so that I can, there's a little danger of it popping out, but with their nose being that free, I don't think there's a problem. I'll just kind of hold this a little bit as I take that last screw. There we go. And there is our filter. Now we'll fill that with water and let it set. When we first fill it with water, it'll sweat and weep a little bit, but those little weep holes are sweating will dry up in 4 or 5 hours. So, and when you fill this with water, you can plug the hose so you can keep it full. And then it's good to keep it full of water for a few days and let that concrete cure as slow as possible. You get a stronger unit that way. If you want to just smooth it up and fill these holes just for appearance sake, you can do it with just a little bit of straight concrete and just some mud. Straight powdered cement with water, and you just stick those in there. That'll work while the cylinder is still green. It won't work very well after another 20 hours or so. It gets so dry that you can't get this to work very nice. But if your concrete's a little bit green, you can fill all these little pockets with mud and smooth it up and make a beautiful appearance. We're going to put the 4 screws in the plastic anchors to show how the diffuser plate sets down on those anchors. There's one right here. And there's another one right here. So now the garden hose, diffuser plate retainer, and gasket, it's kind of all, does all those things, can be placed. And I generally put the splice of the garden hose on this splice of my sheet metal here to give us a better seal at that spot. But it's a good idea to cut the garden hose just a little bit long so that it has to sort of be pushed in there, and then it can slide down. And I should mention, it needs to be a pretty good quality rubber garden hose so it can stay fairly rigid to hold the diffuser plate and the weight of the water when you dump the water in. And the diffuser plate, it can just be made out of 22 gauge, and you can cut it just a wee bit smaller than your 12-inch diameter. When you cut this diffuser plate, make it a little bit small so that it doesn't hang up when you put it in and take it out. But it sits down, it just fits a little snug. It should be trimmed just a skosh, but there's your diffuser plate. This is our sonotube carrying case for the galvanized round mold. With the mold in here, a set of screens, all packaged ready to go. It weighs between 38 and 40 pounds. So we just use some stops here. We use these wooden stops here to keep the bucket lids from going on in and keep them flush with the surface here. And we have 4 of these wooden stops installed in here. And then over here we've got the rope and the garden hose handle. And so you roll the outer mold and the inner mold. And if you're going to send screens, you put your 3-4 screens in between them and sandwich them in there and roll them up tight. Put duct tape around them and set them down into the carrying case. And of course these are in halves, so they'll fit in. The angle irons for the stops, and we even decided to put a round galvanized piece like our diffuser plate, and we put that down last with a hole in it for the 1/4 inch rod that we use to tamp with, and also it holds the bucket lids in place. I just wanted to show you this the rod that goes through. It goes through the bottom bucket lid, of course, and then we take this limb, this 1.25 inch limb off that was our spacer when we tamped our filter, and with a wing nut, this rod comes up through this bucket lid, and with a washer and a wing nut, it holds everything together. And that's pretty much the carrying case in a nutshell.